bull market is heating up, baby dolls. We have not even finished the month of Marwai. You can already feel there's a bit of a sea change out there. There's a return of optimism and confidence. We're not going to get ahead of ourselves, though, because we really did get the bad end of the stick. We've been a naughty, naughty bunch of boys and girls, haven't we? Whoosh. I'm bleeding, sir. Please stop. By the way, I ordered a girl. What are you doing here? It's a crazy world out there, friends. 5 red monthly candles in others BTC. Isn't it funny? We just need some sort of little directional shift and everyone's like, okay, cool. The beating stopped. We've got a long way to go. We're probably like the furthest away distance-wise from euphoria that is. But time-wise, it could happen in the next 4 to 5 months. It might be a reset. It could extend into next year. But I guess we'll see what happens, friends. Now, in the midst of all of that, we are going to be mogging all the non-believers. I am here with a very straight posture and peg nipples. I'm just going to tell you something. There are good moves and there are bad moves. And you know what? It's a marketplace. You know, you don't want to be that guy that says that coin won't go up because you know it's just going to pump just to like basically spite you. And also, you don't want to say this thing is definitely going up because we've had a long, gruesome bear market. But I'm here to teach you something, okay? Willy Woo is making a terrible mistake. No one else in crypto is saying it. I'm going to say it. Well, Willy Woo's got over 1 million followers, doesn't give a crap about me, doesn't know who I am. Okay, by the way, if he's watching me right now, he's probably going to turn it off right now. How are you going to explain to your wife? Like, hey, the peg nipple guy. The peg nipple guy. I'm going to show you what he's doing. This is extremely dangerous. I'm going to just look at it through. Okay, this post is this gentleman, Bitcoin therapist, another Bitcoin Maxi, you know, hates altcoins, just like all of them. He basically said only an idiot would be selling their Bitcoin right now. And then Willy Woo says, I sold some Bitcoin right now, actually. Sent it to a contractor paying for a job he's doing for me. I orange pilled him over the last few months and I want him to experience Bitcoin in an upswing. This is how Bitcoin wins adoption. Okay, that's firstly, that's not even the main gist of it, but that's already a big mistake, friends. For the love of God, do not give money away to people you're trying to adopt. It doesn't work. They just sell it. You have to make them pay with money, okay? And by the way, don't even bother, friends. Just don't even bother, okay? When green candles are here, they'll be begging you. They'll be begging you for your time, okay? But we've tried this experiment. You want to know the stats? What happens? If you airdrop people, they dump. If you give people free money, they dump. We've tried it with everything. Matty Allen, everyone's tried so many examples of giving people like a long-term stake of HEX. They're like, oh, wow, it doesn't work, friends. It doesn't work. You have to make them pay with blood. You have to get them in. That's it. They have to pay with time and with money. That's it. There's no other way. You can't trick people in. We've tried everything. We've tried every single angle. It just doesn't work. And by the way, you don't need to trick people. They can see with their own eyes. When there's a green pump, they want to get into it. They're like, let me in. Let me in. All right, it will happen. You'll see. But this is where it gets dangerous. The Bitcoin therapist sounds like a charitable donation to me. Willy Poo. To be honest, I'm in the process of getting rid of all my Bitcoin. Oh, don't. No. Look what he says. I am buying Bitcoin infrastructure companies with it. Oh, no. Friends, just to let you know, but I have to just tell you, friends, do you remember Greg Foss? Greg Foss, Greg Foss, friends, I made a video on him. Greg, friends, Bitcoin Maxi, was a bond trader. He was the one, he was snapping at Udi and Eric Wall. He goes, Udiots, you effing idiots. Very loud, eccentric. It breaks my heart, friends. I think he lost like 2,000 Bitcoin. Yeah, I'm not joking. Maybe it was about 800 Bitcoin. It was a lot. It was something like $20 million worth. I'm not. It's an unfathomable. Yeah. Do you want to know what he did? I couldn't believe it. He gave his Bitcoin to some Bitcoin miner. And I'm like thinking, bro, like, you're probably thinking, oh, Sommi, did he do that in 2021? Before the bear? No. He gave it to them in 2023 and they still went bankrupt. How shit are you? The price went up in Bitcoin, up only. Oh my gosh, man. So he's like literally, I don't know how he's doing, friends. He literally just lost, man. He's lost. He went through some depression in his life beforehand. That's why when we came to Bitcoin, they gave him like life and a sense of belonging. So please, for the love of God, friends, don't. Do you see what happens when you're too smart for your own good? Smart, successful, bond trader, understands risk. By the way, friends, his Bitcoin target's $1 million. His Bitcoin target's $1 million, and he calculates it based off the debt of the US government. And he's like, okay, even if there's like a 10% chance they can't pay stuff off, based off the expected value of Bitcoin, expected value is like, you know, literally like $400,000. So you like literally go all in on Bitcoin under 400K. Like it. See, that's why I'm telling you, man, what people say and what people do, two totally different things. That's some life advice as well. Yeah, what they say and what they do, two totally different things. You know, hey, if you're a young man out there and the girl says, I love you, and replies with you love heart emojis, okay, yeah, but if you say to her, hey, I want to go for some orange juice at 3 o'clock on a Sunday, and they ghost you, guess what? Actions speak louder than words, my friends, okay? So in the context of this, when you tell me Bitcoin's going to $1 million, but then you give 800 Bitcoin to a Bitcoin miner, I don't think you really believe in your heart it's going $1 million, bro. Because that's what, friends, leverage, people think when you do leverage on something, you believe in it more. No, it means you believe in it less. Yeah, because if you really believed in it, you wouldn't need the leverage, bro. Yeah, you don't need the leverage. So people think they're smart. They think, oh, I'm going to do leverage long Bitcoin right now. I'm going to sell at 120K, and all the other suckers are trying to sell at 400K with their spot. So you're going to make the same distance just on leverage. But what you end up finding is 90% of the time, it swings you down, gets you out, and then it eventually goes up later on. Okay, look what Willy Woo says. But to your point, there was a time when Bitcoin was climbing 30% per week, and the OGs were giving away 5 Bitcoin at a time via faucets in order to support the network with new users. Friends, this is extremely dangerous. He's basically, let me translate this for you. He's basically saying Bitcoin slowed down. He wants more risk. Now, instead of buying Ethereum, instead of buying altcoins, right? Because that's no, can't touch those as a Bitcoin Maxi land. He says Bitcoin dominance is going to 90%. So instead what he's doing, instead of ignoring all these beautifully cheap, I know it looks like dog shit, beautifully cheap dog shit altcoins, they're cheap. I don't care if you think they're poop, they're cheap. Instead of buying them and allocating capital to that, he's gone harder on the leverage, slingshot leverage on BTC. Now, this is where the risk comes in. Bro, you are 4 years of green on Bitcoin dominance. You are literally, bro, you're literally going all in on Bitcoin infrastructure here. Look, I got some news flash here for you, friends. Look, I don't know anything. Okay, I peg my own nipples on the internet. Yes, I have the straightest posture in the northern, southern, eastern, and western hemisphere. Yes, I got fluffy slippers. Yes, I'm wearing a Spider-Man hand backwards. And yes, it's for 4-year-olds, okay? Yes. But I'm also going to tell you something as well, all right? Altcoins are the infrastructure of Bitcoin. You get it? Altcoins are the infrastructure of them. Does Bitcoin have privacy? No. Does Bitcoin have DEXs? No. Does Bitcoin have stablecoins? No. Does it have gaming? No. Does it have metaverse? No. Does it have JPEGs, dog shit versions of them? And JPEGs are already dog shit. Can you imagine dog shit of dog shit? You have none of that. Literally nothing. You have none of the tech. All you have are exchanges that take your passport and ID to allow you to buy BTC. That's it. Government doesn't even like your Bitcoin. It can't even press pause on the blacklist function like it can on the stablecoins. So, can it give you yield? No. Any yield farming? No. So, altcoins are the infrastructure of Bitcoin, friends. See, friends, when you're too smart for your own good, that's how these people end up with like nothing. So mark my words, man. There's like, friends, he got liquidated last time right before Zombie Virus 2020. He had to close down his fund. He was leveraged long BTC. So, yeah, man, look, Willy Woo is a nice guy. Has given a lot for the industry. I'm just telling you that, dude, Willy, if you're listening, bro, get out. You're a dead man walking. And that's kind of wild for me to say. They're like, oh, who are you? Where's your track record? Don't worry about me. I care about you. You're a dead man walking. All right. This is, do you want to know where's the critical point, Sommi? Where was it where they just made the wrong turn? Right here. Literally right here. Because they can identify that altcoins are really cheap. Like they can see in their mind that there's diminishing returns in BTC. But what they've done is they've tripled down on the Bitcoin instead of touching ETH. Backstory. Taking leverage on Bitcoin infrastructure after 4 years of Bitcoin dominance up only is extremely dangerous. Altcoins are the infrastructure of Bitcoin. Bitcoin has no privacy solutions, no gaming, no DEXs, no nothing. It literally has nothing and people don't choose it. They don't choose it for Lightning. It's got no adoption on all these. Oh, friends. So just please, you're watching this happen in real time, right? By the way, watching Buckle Sailor as well. Yeah, he blinked saying, oh, we should stop the war in crypto. Listen, man, you got 580,000 BTC. Friends, obviously, if it was me, and he's never going to do this, like, you misallocated a Bitcoin. Okay, bro, like, it's friends, literally market cycles 101. Okay, you've rather taken turbo leverage on one asset and you just ignored the other leg just because you hate it because it's so tribal. Well, prophecy, right? The market will send Bitcoin dominance down enough to make the Bitcoin community seriously consider adding some technology. That's what happens in this, okay? That's what happens. By the way, the business cycle's at the lowest it's ever been, at the worst it's ever been for the longest. So from this moment on, another way to say it is, if you look at the PMI cycle, right here, 30 months in the red. You see that? Historically, worst in 45 years. Friends, this is the worst it will ever be. This is the worst and the longest, okay? Technically, it can go another 10 months, but it's very, very bad already, okay? So another way to say that is, it's the worst it's ever been, okay? Literally every month from here is more optimistic than our worst point. Therefore, people will just want to naturally add more risk. They will do that. Now, here's the thing. Even those big minds, they know that's going to happen as well. But what they say is, they go, no, it's all coming to Bitcoin infrastructure. I'm thinking, bro, I think you've drank your own Kool-Aid, dude. Have you spoken to anybody in crypto? Literally, have you actually gone and spoken to everybody? Name me a single person who's using Bitcoin. No one cares about it. They want to market buy stuff that goes flying. You already know all this stuff. You already know all this stuff. But because the candles have been green for Bitcoin dominance for so long, even you're doubting what I'm saying, by the way. I know you are. Even I'm doubting myself. 5 seconds. I'm like, oh, but Bitcoin dominance has been going up forever. No, bro. This is where you triple down. Just because something was expensive last year and now it's like triple expensive. Yeah. You triple down on triple expensive. Just like when something was cheap at 70% discount, then it goes 98% discount. Yeah, it's even more cheaper. But that's what people don't want to do, right? And that's what makes a market. That's why you're here to buy the dips, not buy the highs. So I have this nice picture here for you, friends. So denial, anger, bargaining, acceptance, depression. Okay, but denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. All right, so Bitcoin Maxis have not even started the denial part. They haven't even started the denial part. Okay, they're about to enter this complacency. What's the complacency of Bitcoin dominance going to be? All right, do you remember, friends, from the Wall Street cheat sheet? My famous, lovely photo that I always do right here. This is it, yeah? Bitcoin dominance. Okay, now don't look at the chart pattern. Just think of the emotions. Okay? Bitcoin dominance, friends, is literally euphoria. Okay? Ethereum went to 0. ETH BTC went to 0, effectively. There's no Ethereum spot ETF demand. The government just wants BTC, apparently now. Okay, I think it's all Fugazi. Okay, that's euphoria. Everyone's shitting on ETH, shitting on everything. Bitcoin Maxis, friends, it's funny. Bitcoin Maxis, all they believe in is decentralization. They love Soylana because Soylana doesn't threaten them with decentralization because they know nobody's ever going to take Soylana seriously. That's why Bitcoin Maxis like Soylana. They hate Ethereum because it actually challenges them. Okay, that's still true. We are going to enter complacency. We've been waiting for a long, long, long time. I know it's been a way overdue. What will complacency be? Okay. Complacency will be, see how it says here, we just need a cool off for the next rally. So, this is going to be fun when this happens, by the way. Complacency in Bitcoin dominance will be, when it comes down here and does something like this, it'll be, we just need Michael Saylor to reload his $100 billion buy, and then he can send the Bitcoin dominance higher. It'll be something like that. Effectively, it's like, oh, we just need another country to do turbo leverage on this. And what you actually find is, even though they are turbo leveraging in, this thing's going to keep going down. You can't fight the market forever, bro. You can fight it for quite a while. You can't fight it forever. It'll eventually win. So, like I said, they haven't even started denial phase. We have to get through that complacency and then everything coming down and all the new people coming in. We haven't even started denial. Where the denial is, oh, you guys know you are totally wrecked now, bro. You guys have... you've got a lot of Bitcoin leverage to unwind into altcoins, right? So it's going to be fun. Don't forget, friends, Bitcoin, it's misallocated, okay? It is totally misallocated. I don't know how it's going to funnel itself out, okay? Like, I know everyone thinks by default Bitcoin does a 2x and then altcoins do like 10x, right? Which gives others BTC back to like 65%. I know we all think that, but you've got to be more flexible in your mind when you're looking at ratios. I mean, it's totally possible where Bitcoin goes up to 130K, back to 100 where it is now, literally to break even, but Ethereum is like 5,000. Yeah, and altcoins, so Ethereum's up at 2x from here, and altcoins are like up at 4x. That's totally possible. All right, so I'll show you on others BTC where that would actually take us in a very family-friendly way. So, you know, if Bitcoin did nothing and then altcoins did like, you know, another plus 100% or something, it would be here. There you go. So you would be up like 2 or 4x or something. Yeah, so it'd be around there. I know it looks, I know you're like, whoa, I can't believe that happens. I'm just trying to open your mind. That's why you're looking at ratios. You don't know how they're going to work themselves out. Here's the thing though, like friends, how many times you sat here and we like guess, like, oh, I know the ratio is going to move a certain way eventually. And we always guess this thing's going to go 100x and this thing's going to go 50x. Doesn't happen. It's more like that drops 80% and then that moves another way. You know what I mean? So that's why we like, everyone's just so sure Bitcoin goes to 200K, alts go up. It could be that simple, but you know, we'll see, man. I'm just telling you, like, they've sold altcoins too low, bro. You guys, they made the biggest mistakes of their lives, dude. You're not going to get a Donald Trump repeat cycle, okay? You're just not. Like you know, he's like the world's like turbo grifter. You know what I mean? Like in their eyes. Yeah, what does that mean? Do you think that leans more on Bitcoin or altcoins? Like if there's ever going to be an altcoin cycle, we had a double bubble Bitcoin cycle last one. This is a believer cycle, bro. But you know what, friends, all these words, like I'm here to teach you and educate you. Like they don't listen until it's too late. Even the people with the biggest bag size, they don't. They just, what you'll find is they just shift the targets. So like they don't care paying up 20x in a coin. You know what I mean? They'll just, oh, the next target's another 5x. Right? That's just what they do. You'll see it. Like it's going to be, there'll be people buying Bitcoin at 200K and they're like, oh yeah, Marco said it's going to $1 million, you know, within the next 6 months or something. You know, they'll just shift the target, move the goalposts to justify themselves buying high. That's what everyone does. I got some fantastically fun information here for everyone as well. So every day, every hour of the day, we've just been refreshing all the PulseChain news. Interesting, friends. I onboarded my dentist into HEX, but my dentist, this is the thing, it was unexpected. So he's had XRP. Everyone knows, friends. Remember, my dentist had XRP for 5 years, for literally 5 years. He's had Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. And he shocked me. He said, so he's got like another trader, crypto friend. It'd be funny if you watch, it could be the same dentist. He gave him some like rare Nuna coins. He gave him like Arweave, Injective. He gave him Litecoin. Yeah, he gave him Litecoin. Gave him Polkadot. I go, look, I don't want to tell you to sell them because if they go down, if they go up from here, then like, you know, it's playing with fire. But I just said, look, if you want like a family-friendly coin that's like going to add to your Ethereum, ChainLink, right? It's just like a family-friendly coin, right? Because friends, ChainLink did a public ICO, collected everybody's passports, and the SEC sued literally everybody but ChainLink. Did you know that? That's when I knew something really dodgy bullshit's going on. That's why I thought ChainLink was finished in terms of like, they're going to get legally attacked. Bro, they literally collected US citizen passports. They did an actual ICO and they just got let off. Gary Gensler let off. That should tell you, friends, it's an insider's coin, man. It's as insider's going to get ChainLink. Now, here's the thing. He surprised me at the end, okay? At the reception, at the end, we literally had 30 seconds. And he goes, oh yeah, my friend, he got me to install something called MetaMask. And I'm like, oh, you dirty little D-Gen. So that's what I do, friends. Enough. 15. Like, literally, I've got to write notes. It's like, we got 30 seconds to talk. And so he's got MetaMask. I haven't dropped the word PulseChain anything out here. I'm like, look, you got 10 grand to throw in? I said, look, just because he just uses MetaMask swap. It's just the easiest button for him. He doesn't give a shit, right? Remember, like dentist world, bro. Like if you're up 30%, you know what I mean? They can't, their brains can't even handle that. So if I told him like, look, man, this thing your 10 grand might just do a 30x, 50x. It's eHEX, right? So if PHEX, even if the eHEX PHEX ratio just stays where it is right now, conservative, you could do that from here. So that's what I did. I told him about Hex from Ethereum. I go, just go swap on your MetaMask. There's a Hex button. Pretty much just swap it. He's going to do it. So it's like, I think there's just a lesson there of just like, I literally just got 30 seconds, man. I don't have 15 hours to go through. You know what I mean? Like that's it. Like swap, bang, bang. There you go. So it's just showing you the convenience. Most people like just do this button, right? But, big but, anyone out there, friends, for example, PulseX, yeah? Friends, if PulseX had done like a 500% move, a God candle up, okay? If PulseX had done like a 500% move up, and then I'm just going to make my videos and go, PulseX is up 1,300% in 4 months. You know, there's a rumor that it's going to go another 1,000% or whatever. You won't even need to say the second part. You just say, oh, this thing's up 1,000% in like 100 days. That's it. It's like, it spreads like freaking wildfire. You don't need to do this genius marketing, Matty Allen style. Here's a ledger. Let me onboard you. Trust me, it's all really cute. Nothing beats green candle. Look. Ha, ha, green candle. Ha, 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 ha. Green candle. That's it. That's it. Look. It's rising. Wild, huh? So yeah, double bubble alt season. I think everything's going to crank. It's just interesting from like, you know, perspective out here. That's why I like the end game of crypto, friends. It feels like someone has to make like a Twitter style all-in-one app that's safe, where you can just say, hey, what network is this on? You know, like here's PulseChain, here's this, you know, and that will link them easily to buy. They have like one linked up account that just like does everything. That's what you need. Also, like that like wallet, it will be cool if like you could send someone a link that like is automatic to the whole, oh, it's like this network and then this coin with this address to do that. That's something cool. I think Soylana, they had like those little links. I forgot what they were called already. It was like a really cool idea. You could share it on like Twitter, but no one uses it because everything's just freaking pumping up anyway, right? But that's the end game. But also that makes it harder, right? Because then there's like, you know, like everyone can access every coin now. The market's probably priced it in now. So we're not there yet. That could be the future, you know? But we're so early. It's kind of like you and I are on Facebook when it first started and you don't even have a proper contact list. Yeah? Like Facebook doesn't even have a groups button yet, where it just sorts, okay, these are your family. These are like your college football friends. You know, these are like, you know, the homeless people you met under the bridge. Right, this is the guy you were partying with. You know what I mean? You don't have these groups out here. You know, now you do. Now you can if you want. But imagine you're like so primitive. It's just like everything mixed together. That's how early we are to crypto right now. And once they just find ways to simplify that, I mean, it's great, but also means the growth rate is lower. So that's why it really is a huge talking point when I say, man, we're not even listed on an exchange here, bro. It's the contrarian, the cult chain who survived minus 99% that does multiple conferences run by the community every year, right? Where the founder, okay, has more Ethereum than Vitalik personally, and the PulseChain cult treasury has more Ethereum than Coinbase. We're literally the second biggest treasury in the world, okay? All of this, and you're not listed on an exchange, and you have a guy pegging his own nipples who's made 5,000 YouTube videos, highest value content in crypto. Like literally tick, 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 freaking tick. What else do you want? I know what they want. They say to me every day, but Sommi, I want to buy high. What? Yes. I'd like to buy the highest candle you can provide me, sir. If the crowd could speak in one voice, that's what they say to me. I'm not joking. Okay. I'm as serious as this Pokeball. You know this, by the way. Okay. They want to buy the highest freaking green candle. They do. Once I truly fundamentally grasped that, I realized Richie Hart is gonna top blast the living crap out of the PulseChain core coins, and he will send this astronomically high, and he will trap the whole world in. Yeah, because I've been thinking about this wrong. I thought the CZ way many years ago was the right way, where you go up staircases, beep, 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 beep. No. Richard Hart takes the elevator up. Okay. Richard Hart takes the elevator up. So friends, Richard Hart, see, CZ would rather the coin pump up here and then drop like 80% in a bear market. Yeah. Richard would rather the coin pump up here and drop 99% in a bear market. Okay, because in Richard's mind, all these excess people, that's a log chart, friends. Let me show you the difference. Okay, see that? Oh my gosh, you see this big. Look at that bubble. Look how big that bubble is. Okay, yeah. In Richard's mind, and by the way, it's not just like Richard. It's how it all works. Okay, the higher the price, the more chances it will appear on every single person in the world's radar, right? You literally get the billboard out there, the higher the price. Not, oh, this is nice and steady. No one gives a shit about nice and steady, bro. Worry about that in the bear market. That's cyclical stuff. You can't actually stop that. It's going to happen anyway, yeah? You put the price up as high as humanly possible. And mark my words, it will be literally billboard planted all over the world. By the way, we see this with Bitcoin. Friends, why didn't, think about this. You know the Bitcoin halvening? Why didn't Satoshi make the halvening the quartering? Why didn't Satoshi give a mechanism where if your node drops off, here's some inflation to like help you sell the coin and keep pressure downwards so you can survive? Why didn't he do that? He gave him the middle finger. You ever think about that? He could have done that. He could have coded into Bitcoin. The halvening, he could have made it a quartering. He could have made it less of an inflation cut, and he could have given a boost to like dying hash rates. He's like, oh, here's your reward. You know, you're being like, here's your surplus of, like, basically hand out more inflation so they can dump the price. Because like, oh, thank you for supporting the network. Here's your charity coupons to dump the price on the way. Satoshi didn't do any of that. He just said, get out. You ever think about that? It's an actual business decision, friends. Yeah. It's kind of like, oh, I've had an employee that's worked for me for a certain number of years. You don't get your package when you leave. You're just gone. Yeah. He could have done that. Why didn't he do that? Because he understood. The higher the price, the better. That's it. It doesn't matter how many people get trapped. The higher the price, the better. Quite fascinating when you think about it. I know most people get scared because everyone's got PTSD from the last cycle. But you don't have to worry about that, friends. There's only 3% of the world in, 6% of the world, you know? Worry about the trap when the US Fed actually starts buying Bitcoin, you know? We'll worry about that trap because they've got all the currency units. Yeah, because no amount of retailers can replace those currency units if they enter. And then there's an actual bear market after that point. You know what I mean? We are so far away from that point. But do you want to know what we're not far away from? More friendship. Like, subscribe, belly button, or catch you soon.